This is my third time here. Well, you were saying couple of pre-sales. Well, couple of pre-sales in EMEA, okay? It's not for the whole world, it's only in EMEA. I'm starting that position this year. So the idea, my goal for today is to speak about the process of creating digital experiences and personalize those, okay? Of course, Jorge, Brian, a little bit were mentioning many things about this, but I want to go deeper and go and see more and more things, okay? So there are up to 4 different main topics when it comes to manage and create personalized experiences. The first one is easier and more agile creation of digital experiences. That's one of our goals with Liferay DXP 7.1, 7.2. And of course, we have ready-to-use powerful personalization that we'll be speaking about today. I'm also mentioning 2 more topics, and I will add something in my presentation today, but mainly I'm going to focus on the first 2, okay? So creating digital experiences and personalize those experiences. So let's start the first journey with the management of digital experiences in DXP 7.2. Okay, so for us, providing all these capabilities is about giving you the best tools for having all the users empowered to create digital experiences, right? So we have 3 main pillars here. So we have advanced page creation, so how easy it is to create a page, how easy it is to drag and drop components, etc. Realistic page edition. This was a very big thing inside Liferay because, well, yes, we are always trying to provide, the previews, etc. But now what we are aiming for is to let you create the page, and that page will be, of course, as it will be look like by the end users. And finally, all things about integrate inline editing. Not only the inline editing per itself, but also the way you can map to real components, the way you can add widgets in a content page, etc., etc. Okay, so all of that is about that concept. Okay, so yes, for all of you that are, for sure, many of you are experts on Liferay DXP. We started this journey with DXP 7.1, and it was, it was a good version 2, where we started to create the baseline for the next versions. Okay, so we knew in advance that all the things that we wanted to do in content pages, in display pages, with fragments, with inline editing, was going to take some time, were going to take some time from us. So we started our journey in 7.1, but now in 7.2, we are really going forward and forward, as we have mentioned in the previous talks. So yes, if you have a look right now, you'll see that all the side window that we have here has changed. We now are providing out-of-the-box components that you can start using from the very beginning. We are also providing different new capabilities like mapping to real content, content sets, etc. So all of this is going to provide us a real use case for content pages in most of the use cases. I'm going to right now go highlighting up to 7, 10 different capabilities, and then I'll show you a quick demo, okay, using these capabilities. This is just a list of things that I think are good to share. So first thing is about the out-of-the-box collections, okay? It was mentioned by Jorge in the previous talk. So yes, we are providing these out-of-the-box collections, and you can use them as a starting point for creating your own components, your own sections, okay? So those sections are always going to be there, and you can create copies from here, okay? Another thing that I want to highlight is about the UI layout design. So in 7.1, we didn't have this. So we had to create fragments that will be in just a single column, but now you can add those components here, which are layouts, then define up to 6 different columns, okay? And decide what will be the size of those columns, following the Bootstrap standard, and then dragging and drop components, and so on. So the idea here, with this kind of things in mind, is to provide you all the tools that you need, at least for creating a widget page. We are not deprecating widget pages, okay? Widget pages are there. You can choose widget page. But we are trying to put all the things in content pages because we really think that now using content pages is going to worth it. Drag and drop, of course, we've been improving this in the current version. So now you can drag and drop the components from the sidebar, but also drag and drop the components to the different parts of the page. And same with widgets, okay? This is very important. Again, if you remember Liferay 7.1, you have to create a fragment to add a widget into a content page. That is not happening anymore. Now you just drag and drop the widgets. For instance, this is an asset publisher with a content set. We'll see that in the demo. And it's as easy as dragging and drop the widget, okay? So again, remember, the idea is that you can use the content page almost always. Configurability is another important thing in our journey here with 7.2. So the idea is that we are going to provide flexibility to the business user because the developer can create this configuration. He can create these configurations just with JSON and free marker, we'll see later. And then the end user, the business user, the marketer, is going to choose and configure the fragment there. So why do we have this? Because then you are going to need less fragments, okay? Let's say an example. So if you have a slider with some images going on, then the marketer, maybe he can decide that each image is going to remain there for, I don't know, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So that is just a configuration at this level. And you don't have to create 2 fragments and maintain those. So that is very important, okay? Map to content, of course. It was also mentioned in the previous talk. So again, it's very important to provide those inline capabilities, but inline editing is for content that you are not going to reuse. If you plan to reuse the content, we'll see later why I'm planning to reuse this content in the demo, then you have to map the content, okay? As you can see, you can map web content articles, documents, blog entries. We'll see more and more things coming on our roadmap for 7.3 and so on, but by now we have web content articles, documents, and blogs. So you just pick up and decide which are you going to map, and for the next times, then the contents that are mapped will appear here, okay? So they are there, and it's easier to map for the different fields that you have in the same page. And in the end, this is driving also for creating display pages, okay? So display pages that now are available for documents, for blogs, and web contents are going to be easier to configure and easier to edit because we have that kind of menus, and also because of that content reusement that I'm speaking about, okay? Page structure is also there to help us a little bit. When we have many, many components, then we can navigate through the page structure and see what we have, the different sections, columns, and so on. And finally, we just recently added with the service pack first in 7.2, the page comments at page creation, okay? So if we have different users using the page, then they maybe can create some comments. It's not like editing at the same time, okay? It's not that, but we can see how the page looks like, how the draft looks like, add some comments, and then another user will see those comments and decide what to do, etc. We'll see more about this on next versions, but we have started this recently. Okay, and much more things, okay? As I was mentioning, it's just some 10 things that I'm highlighting, but we have more and more things like the Liferay fragments CLI, that was also mentioned, to create the fragments using whatever tool like Visual Studio and so on. So I have a video here. I was going to do a live demo, but okay, there are some difficulties. So I have a video here explaining that, okay? You can have the live demo if you go and meet me because I have everything on the laptop, okay? So this is a homepage. It's more or less the same that we have in liferay.com, but it is on my laptop. I have just recorded this 1 hour ago. And I have different things here, okay? I'm gonna log in as an administrator with a non-user and a whatever password, it's not the test one. And now I'm gonna show you a little bit the different things that I was mentioning, okay? So coming back to the homepage and going to the edit mode, as you can see, that edit mode has changed a little bit. Now I'm in a realistic page like Creation Edition, where I can see everything that is gonna happen as soon as I press the Publish button, okay? Of course, I have all the basic sections and components out of the box that I have when I start using Liferay. So they are there, and you can drag and drop there, those components. And we still are providing all the things about multi-language, okay? So if I change to Italian, then I can translate everything, all the Italian contents, and so on, okay? Okay, let's go back to the English version. And now let me show you how a configuration could look like. Okay, so here I have a fragment, and I have some components here, so I can decide, for instance, to change the color and so on. Okay, so I'm changing the color here. Maybe if it is going to be a H1, H2, H3, so the level, and so on. Okay, so it's very easy for the business user. But now let's have a look when it comes to a developer. Okay. It is supposed that this is a technical talk, so let's have a look when we are having a look as a developer, okay? So I'm a web developer now. Of course that I have all the stuff that Liferay provides me, and then I can go to my own components, I can create a copy of those out-of-the-box components, and now I can go and change that component. So this is a component that is a copy from the header that Liferay provides, and I have changed a little bit the configuration. So as you can see, there are some differences here. So I'm going to the configuration right now, and you can see that in JSON, I can declare values and also the name of the variable that I will consume from FreeMarker, okay? So I have different things here, and also like the color palette. That color palette comes from the theme. So in the theme, you decide which colors are going to be there, okay? And finally, I can use FreeMarker to call those variables from the fragment itself, from the HTML part, okay? So you see that I have different things here. So then it happens. Of course, some things are more complicated than others, but in the end, it's just FreeMarker and JSON, okay? And finally, following with the demo, this is the last step in the web content creation and web content management that I want to show you. We also have all the thing about mapping contents, okay, mapping real contents, okay? So let me show you again the page. This is the page. And of course that I have some inline editing here. So here, for instance, I have an inline editing, click, thank you. And then I'm just editing here some kind of the context. The bar that appears has more things now. This is important. So inline editing is okay when you don't want to reuse the content. It happens many, many times when it is a homepage, for instance. But here, I want to map real contents, okay? So I have this specific web content that I was mapping before, okay? That's why I'm not selecting it. And then a specific field of my structure. Same thing here in the other field, okay? So I'm mapping to another different field. It's just a double click, and you see that, okay? That's it. Okay, so that is about, we call it internally modern site building, okay? That is about creating web experiences. Second thing, let's personalize those experiences, okay? So let's see how personalization now in 7.2 looks like. So first of all, yeah, a little bit about the why. We've been speaking about this also in the last talks. The idea here is that with personalization, you are going to have more customer engagement, more leads conversions, and more brand awareness. This is really proven. There are many, many studies. I'm not highlighting anyone here, but there are many studies about personalization and how it comes when into a company, okay? And of course, yes, you do know that we used to provide Liferay audience targeting in our marketplace as a plugin that you could install since Liferay 6.2, right? So audience targeting was providing many, many things. One of the important things that were happening with audience targeting is there, okay, local storage. This is very important. So we used to storage everything about clicks, page views, submit of a form, etc., in the relational database, okay? It could be in the Liferay database or in an external database, but it was locally in a relational database. Now, with 7.2, we are changing that. You still can use Liferay personalization, which is out of the box without any plugin, if you don't have Analytics Cloud, but we are starting to provide many, many things integrating Liferay DXP and Liferay Analytics Cloud. For instance, as I was speaking about storage, we are not storing anything in Liferay DXP. If you want to say, I want to know that the user has clicked here, and then here. This is a behavior-like rule, right? So for that, you can use cookies, for instance. Okay, so you can store that at the session level in the laptop of the user, but we are not storing anything, okay? But if you want to do something which is historical, what happened 3 days ago with this user, then Analytics Cloud will be your answer for that. So keep in mind that from now on, you are going to hear from me and from many people that we are starting to integrate more and more those two products. But you can still do things without Analytics Cloud, okay? Personalization can happen without Analytics Cloud, but out of the box, what we are providing is especially cookies or these kind of things that happen in the session, okay? Not in the database. So some of the things that I wanted to highlight before going to the second demo are segments, okay? So yeah, at segments we have many, many different combinations, more than 30 different rules, so I want to highlight 3 of those. So first one is customer. Oh, perfect. So custom fields. So for instance, this field here is a custom field that I have on my library without programming, just using custom fields of the user entity, and they appear here. So I can also do things with custom fields at the user level. And we also are providing things at the organization at session level, okay, like the URL, the previous URL, the language, the cookies, et cetera, And you can mix with and, or, and so on. Then we have the experience creation. Yes, with the same tools that we are providing for creating a content page, then you just create a variation. We'll see later in the demo, same idea. But the idea here is to create different variations of the same page. So with audience targeting, we had some widgets, like for adding a banner, similar things. Now you change the whole page. You add new widgets. You drop widgets that you maybe don't need. You change configurations of those widgets, okay? So the concept is different. And of course, now all the synchronization, all the integration that we have with Liferay Analytics Cloud and Liferay DXP. So at the segment level, we can, the segments got imported automatically from Liferay Analytics Cloud into Liferay DXP, and then in Liferay DXP, we can create new experiences. We can create page variations with those segments, okay? Of course, all this new thing about content sets, well, a content set is just, a set of contents that you create in Liferay. It's like an asset publisher, but without the publishing, okay? So it's just something that you do in the backend, and then you will use in an asset publisher. And the content set, it also has personalized variations, okay? So you can create variations at this level. Why? Because if you remember in audience targeting since DXP 7.0, we started to provide audience targeting and asset publisher integration, right? Anyone remembers that? Yes, no? Well, so now we are providing the same thing with content sets, okay? So the idea here is that you prepare the personalization from this very beginning. And finally, content recommendation, okay? Content recommendation, again, is about A/B test, is about Analytics Cloud and how you can add a new filter to everything that you have in a content set because of the interest that we get to know in the cloud, in Analytics Cloud. Things about the architecture. Don't miss to visit our open source version. This is an open source. All of the things that we do in Liferay are open source. Same thing with personalization, right? So you can check and see how are we creating this. And of course, you'll also see that there are different extension points that you can use to really adapt personalization to your own means, okay? Of course, that I was speaking about custom fields, cookies, different things. You can also add new things at the session level. It's very easy to add those kind of things, but there are also different points where you can extend the product. And for those interested in migrating from audience targeting, we are migrating, upgrading some of the things, but not all of the things. Take in mind that this is a whole new module, and we are migrating some things, but some others have to be manually migrated, okay? So in the demo, I'm starting an incognito session right now in the same site. And as you can see here, I have the home page, okay? So this is the home page, and I have a set of contents. I'm going to switch to Italian, because we are here in Milano. And yeah, I'm going to show you a little bit the homepage with the logos there. This is a content set we'll see now, and some other messaging here, okay? Now I'm going to, it's an easy thing, okay? I'm a guest user. I'm going to visit one of the pages, for instance, commerce. We'll have some demos about commerce later on. And I'm going back to the homepage. This is a very, very easy example, okay? I just go, click on it, on the homepage again, and as soon as I come back, things happen, okay? So for instance, the content set with the logo has changed. So now I'm showing real customers for DXP for commerce. Or for instance, I'm adding a message here to visit our offices in Milano, okay? So these are things that I can do. It's a very easy example, but in the end, you can create this very, very easily, okay? So what happens under the hood? What do I have configured here? So first of all, I have a segment with different properties. So is the segment about people interested in commerce? Yes, I do have the segments from Analytics Cloud, but I'm going to show you a little bit the one coming from commerce, okay? So in commerce, in the commerce one, I have 3 different properties. It's very easy. So people who are using, who have the navigator in Italian, people with a specific cookie that I have created. So if you visit commerce, then you get this cookie. And people who are a guest, who hasn't logged in. Of course, that I have more and more session rules here, and I can mix and so on with an and or, but I think that example is easy, and it's very easy to understand, okay? And more than 30 rules, as I was speaking about. So now that I have my segment, I can create variations for the content sets that I have. Okay? So I'm going to content sets, and as you can see, I can create some variations here. So I just click on content sets, and I have some variations in this dynamic content set. This is a dynamic one because if I create a new logo because I win another customer for Liferay DXP, I have just to add it, and then it's going to happen in the homepage without doing nothing, right? So that's why. And here, I'm creating variations. So the first thing is, okay, so all the customers that are English customers, so this is for everyone. But if you are interested in commerce and you are Italian and so on, then I'm going to show you all the logos that are tagged with the commerce category, okay? So this is, as I was mentioning, an easy personalization, but it's worth it, right? It's something that you can use. In the end, with all of this setup, then I can go to the page and create my variation. So I'm going to the home page, and I'm going to create my personalized experience, right? So I just go there into the edit mode, and then I can create a new experience like there. Okay, so I just create a new experience for this specific segment, and I start doing my job. I'm going to skip the end of the video because it's just using again modern site building. Okay, all the capabilities that we were speaking about. So that's it about personalization. Okay, but I'm still missing 2 more things. I'm just going to mention them in 1 minute. Okay, so measuring and optimizing digital experiences. This evening, we have a talk from Ed about A/B testing. So once that we have created that personalized variations, we can also create A/B testing, again, using Analytics Cloud and using all the artificial intelligence that Analytics Cloud is going to provide us. Okay, so that's why we are adding this piece. This piece is fundamental when it comes to really analyze the vast amount of data that can be stored because of page clicks, page views, and so on. And finally, headless. Right now, we are going to have 3 more talks about headless, 3 or up to 4 different talks, so they will speak about this. In the end, remember that in Liferay, we were always providing the service builder. On top of that, we could create the local and remote services, and we were helping with our tools to create those. And now, on top of that, we are creating the new headless APIs, which have 2 different endpoints, the GraphQL single endpoint and the REST endpoints. And some of the talks that are going to happen right now are going to use this. And this is also part of what we think is digital experience and personalization. So that's it. This was the 4 points, and I expect that all of us agree that this is a huge and very important improvement. Thank you very much.